Welcome to the Self Reliant Living Show, where we talk all about a self-reliant lifestyle to save money, live greener, eat healthier, and be prepared for anything so you can take care of the ones you love in good times and bad. I'm your host, Jennifer Osich, a homeschooling mom of 3 boys. I'm the author of the Preparedness Planner series, and my husband and I are the lead teachers of Self Reliant School, a website dedicated to giving you the skills and confidence to take care of yourself and your community. Be sure to stop by and pick up your free videos from inside Self Reliant School that will get you started growing, cooking, and preserving your own food today. You can pick these up at selfreliantschool.com/free. Now, on with the show. Okay, so this is the Wondermill. It has been around for a while. This company has been around for 20 years. Before the Wondermill, they had the Whispermill. So I don't know if you've been researching and reading about home grinding mills, you'll probably have come across the Whispermill because people still talk about it, even though you can't even buy one anymore because people still have them and they are still running. So the Wondermill company, they just really make sure that their products are built solid. So having said that, the other thing I wanted to point out to you is that this Wondermill has the safety certifications, which is the UL certification in the US. It has the CSA for Canada and the CE for Europe. So it's the only one that has all of those safety certifications. So I wanted to point that out as something that is unique about them. They also pride themselves on being really simple to use. The mill is really simple to use. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. Okay, so the next thing I want to point out is that this is an impact mill. And we went over that a little bit last time when we were talking about the NutriMill Plus, but I'll just quickly do kind of a review about that. What it means is that when the grain goes in, there are 2 circular plates. Only one of them is rotating and the other one is stationary, but they're so close together that when the grain goes down through the 2 plates, then it just pulverizes it. So that's how it grinds the grain. Okay, so on the Wondermill, you have 3 texture controls, and it's right here on the front. You have one for pastry, one for bread, and one for coarse, which would be something if you were making kind of a porridge or something like that. Most things are going to be ground on the bread setting. If you have something, a recipe that you're trying to make pastry flour for, then you can use, of course, the pastry setting. So it has 3 different settings there, and that's the feed rate, right? So it's controlling the texture of the flour. So it's super simple there. There's not much to it, just the 3 settings. Okay, so there are a couple of special things about the Wondermill that are unique to the Wondermill. And one of them is that you have to turn it on before you put the grain in the hopper. Otherwise, you could clog it up with flour. And then along those lines also, you need to let it finish grinding all of whatever you're grinding before you turn it off. So the hopper needs to be completely empty. It's a good practice to do on all mills, but specifically this one because that it's in the directions. That's another thing you should do once you get your mill. You should read the directions front to back. And that is in the directions, and they tell you several times that is a necessity with this mill. So that is it's unique to the Wondermill in terms of they tell you straight up, don't do it. Just turn it on before and let everything finish before you turn it off. And then there's instructions in the directions if there's some sort of emergency or something like that. Okay, so here's one thing I wanted to mention, and this is something that is true with all grain mills as well, is that you should never store your grain in your mill. So obviously that is a big no-no with this one because it tells you not to put anything in unless it's on, but you should never ever store your grain in your hopper. It's going to be, well, especially bad for the Wondermill, but it's going to create problems for all mills. Okay, so let me show you how this goes together. First of all, though, I want to, because I have to move this scale, so I'm going to tell you before I move it. So we have a gift for you, and it has to do with weighing your flour. If you are a seasoned bread maker, you probably know that it is better to weigh your flour with a scale. And so the thing is, though, oftentimes when you get a recipe, it'll say a cup or it'll say a fourth a cup, whatever, and it won't have the weight. So if you would like to have a conversion chart for that, what you can do is type in the comments, type baking in the comments, and then I will get you that that chart. It's a conversion chart through Messenger. I will go ahead and send it to you, and then you can download it there in Facebook. So if you are watching the replay and you're on YouTube or you're at the show notes, I will put a link to the Facebook replay show where you can go ahead and comment baking in the comments. And you might need to give it just a minute to work, but rest assured, I will make sure that everybody gets their conversion chart delivered. And then I'm going to move this so I can show you how to put the Wondermill together. But yeah, so and I had one of my children try and clean this, but we use it all the time, so I'm sorry for the fingerprints all over it. Okay, so we're going to put this together. I'm going to show you how it works. I talked about the controls here. There's 3 of them. If you're just joining me, it's pastry, bread, and coarse, and then this is the on and off switch. So that's all the controls that you have to understand or know. Then how it works is this is a top. You can store it on the hopper, but you're not supposed to grind it with the top on. So it does fit on here kind of snugly, so I'm not going to put it on because I'm trying to get it off. But anyway, it fits on there for storage, but you shouldn't grind with it on. So I'm going to put it over here. It does have a double duty. I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so this is the flour canister, and then this is the top to the flour canister. Now, the way that these impact mills work is they have a filter, and then they have airflow here, and that's what this cup does. It helps with that, and the air filter here. If these are not in place, then you're going to have flour everywhere. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that these are completely clean and dry, and then you're going to put it on here, and it snaps on, so it's not hard, and then the filter goes right on here, and I'm going to make sure that's on, and then it just goes in here. Top fits on like so. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. So you need to make sure that doesn't happen where the cup comes off. You need to make sure it's pretty snug in there, because if it does, you're going to have flour everywhere. So that would be something to listen for right there. I snapped it in. I didn't snap it in before. Okay, so you're going to put this on here, and then you're going to attach it right here to the base. And it just goes in just like this, and there you have it. That's it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your grain in here, you're going to turn it on, and then your flour is going to collect in here. So it's really super simple. There's not that many parts. Like I said, Wondermill really prides themselves on keeping things simple. So if you have never ground your own flour, then this might be a mill to start with, because it is so simple. That is one thing that you could consider when you were looking for a mill that's the best for your family. Let me take this apart and talk about the top just a little bit more. When you are cleaning it, you want to make sure that you get all of the extra flour out of your air filter, because if you put this under the water and you try and wash it out, any flour that's in here is going to clump. So what I do is I take mine outside and I just go like this and try and get all the flour out of it. And you don't really need to clean it every single time, but you will from time to time. And then you can also replace these filters. It comes with an extra an extra filter. So and I don't think they're that expensive. So you may want to keep a couple on hand, especially if you go through a lot of wheat, if you grind a lot of wheat. Okay, so that is the top there. And then this canister is also designed for storage. So you can take that top and you can put it on here, and then you'll have storage for your flour. Okay, so let me talk about the add-ons or the accessories that you can purchase, because this is what is in the box basically. Is you get your base and you get your storage top, right? And then you get your canister grinding top, and then you get the flour canister, and that's what's in the box. That's what comes with the Wondermill. Like I said, super simple, not very many parts. Now, the only thing is that you'd have to find a place to store all of them, and this stores on here and this stores here, so it's not too bad. But like I said, super simple to work and super simple in terms of there's not 100 pieces that you have to keep up with. Okay, so let me go back and talk about some of the accessories here. Okay, so if you want to grind smaller grains, there is an accessory that you can purchase from Wondermill, and it lets you do some of the smaller grains. Actually, these two come together. It's a small, what do they call it? They call it a small grain adapter and a bean adapter. I'm doing the wrong one. So this is the small grain adapter, and then this is the bean adapter. And what it's doing, it just fits in here. Let me see if I can tilt this so you can see. But it just fits in the top. And what it's doing is it's controlling the feed manually rather than having it with a button or something like that. So it has it written on here, the different sizes. Like there, you can do tapioca and you can do some coarser salt. And then if you turn it around, you can do something like aramith and you can put it in there. And then it will grind it fine. What it's doing is, like I said, it's controlling the speed, so it's slowing down the feed. And so that means that it's not, the motor is so strong that if you turned it on and then fed that through there, then it would just go everywhere inside the motor and clog it up. So this is controlling the feed. Same thing with this. This is for larger beans, specifically garbanzo beans. It's really popular right now to make chickpea flour, right? So you're just going to put it on, and that's going to control the beans going in there so they don't clog up the machine. So that is the adapters. And if you go to the show notes, like I said, there's going to be a whole list of things that you can grind in here. And then in another column, there are the things that you can grind with the adapters. So you can see both there. Okay, so those are the adapters, and you, like I said, you are going to get a wider range of things that you can use it for if you have the adapters. Okay, so I'm just making sure that I am talking about everything I needed to talk about. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is the flour bagger. So basically this is it. This is also an add-on, so you have to purchase it separately. But what it does is it takes the place of this bottom canister here, and it has holes in it, so you need to be careful. You need to be careful. It has holes in it, and that's so that there's no suction or anything with the bag. So once you have a bag, I have a bag in here. Let me show you how it goes. The adapter ships with like 100 bags, I think. But this is just a basic bag. I think you can still buy these, the kind without the Ziploc on the top. Okay, so you're just going to put it in here like that and try and get as much air out of it as possible. And just fit it in here. And then you're going to put your top on and then just grind as normal. And then once you are finished, then what you do is you just take the bag out, and then you can store that in your freezer. You can give it as a gift. You can do a ton of things with it, and then you don't have to keep emptying this one every time you filled it up and put it in a bag. So I know a lot of people like to just grind their wheat like once a month, me, and then store it in the freezer. So that is something you can definitely do with the bag attachment. Okay, so let me see if I have left anything out here. Okay, so we talked about what comes in the box, right? And then you also have directions. There's getting started guide and all of that. You definitely want to read the directions from start to finish before you operate your mill. That's true for any mill that you may purchase. Okay, so Wondermills are great. They really are. Like I said, they've been around for a really long time. They are limited in their capacity to do like a really, really fine flour. So if you are looking for some of that pastry flour, this may not be the mill for you. But like I said, if you're just getting started, if you have a large family and you need to mill a lot of grain, then this might be the one for you. The canister holds 12 cups. I know that is a question that I get a lot. I'm gonna go here and monitor comments. Hi, Renee. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully our sound is good now. Okay, and people are saying baking. Yay! And let me know if that's working for you guys. Because I was trying to make sure that was working. Let me know if it's working. Okay, so let me go over here. Okay, so right here, this is where I was talking about if the Wondermill is right for you. So like I said, it is a workhorse. It is probably going to last, I don't want to say a lifetime, but it's going to last a good long while, right? Because they've taken special care with the motor to make sure that it is going to keep going and keep going and keep going. They actually did an experiment where they took one of their mills and they ran a half a ton of hard white wheat through it in a 10-hour period. And it did fine. It burnt out some other mills. They were doing a comparison thing, and it burnt out some other mills, but the Wondermill kept going. And if you go to their website, you can read the story about the mill still being a demo in their shop. So anyway, it's going to keep on grinding for you. One argument with the Wondermill is that it heats up flour. I don't really think it's a big deal, because for that to be a problem, it has to be 130 degrees, and I don't think it gets quite that hot. So even though it's warm, it's not going to affect your flour. So I wouldn't really worry about that. Okay, so the Wondermill has wonderful reviews. You should check them out, see what people are saying, and you can learn even more about it and see if it's the right mill for you and your family. So if you are a member of Self Reliant School, then on our Self Reliant Living Plus show, Self Reliant. I've got too many Self Reliance. Anyway, we're going to go over the Junior Deluxe hand mill that the same company, Wondermill, puts out, and we're going to take it apart and I'm going to show you how to put it together on our Plus show. So if you're a member, then I am going to see you in just a few minutes there. If you are not, go to the show notes, and there is a blog post that I did, and it goes over this hand mill from start to finish, and it tells you everything that it does. Wonder Junior Deluxe. I was getting tongue-tied. Wonder Junior Deluxe. And like I said, we're going to go over that. We're going to show you how it works, take it apart, all of that on our Plus show. So if you're a member, then hang tight for that. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. If you're not, no worries. Go to the show notes for this show, which is selfreliantlife.tv/060. And then if you scroll, I think it's at the bottom, there is a link to that blog post, and we talk about this in depth, and I go through a bunch of stuff about that, so you won't miss out that way. Okay. I have a free gift for you guys. I've already mentioned it, but if you are joining me late, then I want to mention it again. And that is, if you are, if you're a seasoned baker, you know this, but if you're just starting out, it is really, really best to weigh your flour when you're using it in recipes, because that way you can compensate for any kind of humidity, any kind of your flour being compacted, all of that stuff. And so if you weigh it, right, it's going to be that same weight no matter what it looks like. But if you just measure it by volume, then it may not be because of these other factors. So I have created a chart for you that will let you convert the volume to weight. And so if you type baking in the comments, I will send you that. It's a PDF download through Messenger. So all you need to do is type baking in the comments, and then I will get that to you. It may take a few minutes, but rest assured I'll make sure you get it. So definitely do that. It's a free gift from me to you, and I just want to let you know that it'll be delivered in Messenger. I'm hoping got that working. So anyway, I want to also say that being self-reliant is not just about you or being selfish. It's about taking care of yourself so you can take care of the ones that you love. Take care until we talk again. I'm so glad you could join me today. Here's what to do next. Head over to selfreliantlife.tv to pick up the show notes for this episode and to watch replays of older episodes. To go directly to the show notes for this episode, go to selfreliantlife.tv and then without a space, type a / and then the number of today's episode. You can watch this show live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, live on Facebook or the Periscope app. Don't forget to stop by selfreliantschool.com/free to get your free Self-Reliant School videos that will help you get started living a self-reliant life. Also, if you're listening to this show as a podcast and you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe through Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast app. If you're on a mobile device, just search for the Self Reliant Living Show. If you're on a laptop or desktop, just go to selfreliantlife.tv/iTunes. And while you're there, please leave a review. I love to hear from you. You leaving feedback makes it easier for others that are interested in living a self-reliant life to find my podcast. Take care until we talk again.